You mentioned Charles Leclerc. He finishes second on the podium. George Russell from Mercedes finished third. Do you think that pitting early behind a virtual safety car was a mistake? Should we chastise the strategy from Ferrari, or do you think that they just did the best that they could with how the race unfolded?
So that situation with the virtual safety car, Ferrari basically had two options. They could either pit from the lead and try and get essentially a quicker pit stop because you lose less time relative to everyone else if there's a virtual safety car out because everyone else is moving slower on track. Now, they got a little bit unlucky because the virtual safety car ended whilst Leclerc was still in the pit lane. So they didn't get the full benefit of that early pit stop that they would have had in terms of race time normally. So that was unfortunate. The other thing is that had Leclerc not pitted, Red Bull were ready to bring in Max. So it was one of those situations where you either try and take that punt yourself or Red Bull are going to do it behind. And Red Bull admitted this after the race. They said, we were absolutely going to do the opposite to what Leclerc did. And so really, I mean, at the end of the day, it was the pace of the Red Bull. I can't really envisage a situation, no matter what they'd done with strategy, where Leclerc would have held off Verstappen. And so, that's the way it went. But they had to try something. You know, I feel like there's other times when Ferrari have clearly dropped the ball. But with this one, they had to try something. If they didn't try it, Red Bull would have tried it. Now, what would have been interesting, of course, is that Verstappen was further back. And so had he come in under the virtual safety car, it would have ended even quicker for him in the pit lane, which meant there'd be even less advantage. So that may have set up a bit of a race. But of course, Ferrari, there's no knowing when the virtual safety car ends. It's relatively random in terms of what race control decide to do there. So it was bad luck for Ferrari to some extent, but I just don't think they had the pace in Monza.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily would have mattered. It was like Zandvoort, right? Like even if Mercedes had maybe done a different strategy at the very end, I think Max Verstappen has the machine to be able to overtake both of those guys and win that race. So kind of similar there. I do think watching Carlos Sainz go from, what was it, 18th, 19th, 18th, I think is where he started with the grid penalty, to work his way through and to come back and finish fourth, I thought was very, very telling. I know Charles was a little bit disappointed with the second place, but I thought Sainz really did a nice job, and that was an impressive day from him.
Yeah, it was. And nice that the Ferrari fans, of which there were many there, it was a real sellout crowd in Monza. Haven't seen that every year, you know, in recent seasons. To see Sainz come through the field, at least that was something for them to get behind. And you could hear the crowd cheering every time he made an overtake. So that was good to see. And I'm sure like Sainz enjoyed that. Of course, he would have much rather started from the front and had a shot of victory as well. And Ferrari would have loved that because they would have had two cars to play with strategy then. So maybe they would have been in a better situation to try and hold off Max. But at least that was a silver lining for an otherwise pretty dark day for Ferrari at Monza.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.